Hello friends, this is Dr. Kishore. Today I am going to discuss about the mitochondrial DNA. So we are all know about the mitochondria. The mitochondria, which is in double membranous organelle, which is to be important for making of cellular energy, that is ATP. And there is a clear-cut difference between other cell organelles with respect to the mitochondria that we should understand here. So if you take other cell organelles like ribosomes, ER, Golgi, right? When compared with them, definitely this should have a certain kind of the advantage, or we call a special feature that is nothing but having its own DNA. So in this particular session, I'm going to discuss about the various kinds of the basic introductory points that are related with the mitochondrial genome. So friends, you should always remember that this mitochondrial genome, which is complete different from the main genome, that is nothing but the nucleus where exactly the DNA is present. The DNA or the genome of the cell is different from this mitochondrial genome. And I'm trying to give in a particular aspects which is related with the mitochondrial genome. And I'm trying to give certain differences between the nuclear as well as mitochondrial DNA, that is called differences, and similarities and differences. And the third aspect of my talk is to present a maternal inheritance. So how this mitochondria is to be transferred, the mode of transfer to the zygote. That process we call maternal inheritance, and that I'll also explain. And obviously, if you compare this mitochondrial DNA, this should have a high mutation rates. Even I'm going to talk about what the factors that can contribute this high mutation rate in a mitochondrial DNA. And finally, I'm trying to give a basic idea about certain diseases which are associated with mitochondria, right? So friends, let's start the discussion. So we all know that before we exactly enter into the mitochondrial DNA, and we should understand there will be a few basics. This we call, this is a double membranous structure. So it will have the two membranes. So this is called outer membrane, and this we call inner membrane. And there is a space between outer membrane, inner membrane, we call intermembranal space. That this one is called intermembranal space. And even if you see that in the middle, exactly the core portion of the mitochondria, that we will call it as matrix, right? And the inner membrane will also have the foldings that we call extra invaginations that can be present in the matrix, that we call generally cristae, right? And one important thing we should remember is this one we call DNA, right? The DNA, the mitochondrial DNA that can be present in the matrix of DNA, matrix of the mitochondria, that we should remember, right? So the mitochondrial DNA is present only in the matrix. So here you can see there will be multiple copies of the DNAs that can be present here. This can be indicated, right? So that's all related with this structure of mitochondrial DNA. So there will be different kinds of properties or their features that are associated with the mitochondria. Those we call it as, this is to be nothing but, so you can see here. So you can see this mitochondrial DNA, which is a double standard circular DNA, which is present. And if you see these copies of the DNA, the copies of DNA will have several copies, and these several copies that can be present in a single mitochondria, and these mitochondria will have a varying number in each cell. So that we should understand. And I'm taking a notation just a second. And yeah, the mitochondrial DNA, which is very similar to the prokaryotic DNA, right? So why it is to be very similar? Because there is a theory that can explain about the origin of mitochondria into the eukaryotic cell, that is called endosymbiotic theory. And this is this DNA, it does not have any kind of histone proteins. That we should understand. The histone proteins are very typical features of eukaryotic DNA. And if you see this genes contains no introns. The introns should be present in the eukaryotic DNA, but the mitochondrial DNA, it does not carry any kind of introns, and their inheritance is always maternal side. Clear? So if you want to be see the actual the different kinds of the regions and their genes which are present in the mitochondria, this is how we can draw the conclusion. So if you see the mitochondrial DNA, as I explained, which is in a double stranded circular DNA, which will have the 16.6 kilobase pairs, right? And these can encode for total 37 mitochondrial genes. Friends, this we should understand that total mitochondrial DNA is code for only 37 genes. Clear? In out of 37 genes, 13 genes, well, when these genes can code for the proteins which are involved in a respiratory chain, that is electron transport chain, and rest of the 24, this will code for the RNAs. Among them, 22 tRNAs will be coded by the genes, and 2 rRNAs can code by out of 24 genes. Right? This is very clear that you should understand this total, the genome which is present in the mitochondria will code only 37 genes. Out of 37 genes, 13 genes can be involved for the coding of respiratory chain proteins, and you can see here what are the respiratory chain. So here complex 1, complex 2, complex 4, complex 5, right? So the color, the particular color you can see here, these are to be in particular colors which will be involved. These enzymes are involved for the respiratory chain, all right? And 24 genes where 22 for tRNA, that is called transfer RNA. You can see here, this color indicates the transfer RNA, and the rest of the 2 genes for the rRNA, right? So this is what the mitochondrial DNA which can be present. And one important feature we should understand, that is called D loop. D loop is the one where it can be take a major role in the in getting of mutations, right? Majority of the cases, mitochondrial DNA mutation can be happen in the D loop only, right? And there will be many advantages which is associated with the D loop, right? So these are all the basic structure of the genome. So you can see not only this, so that's how the 37 genes, which are only very less number of genes, and that will code for a different purposes, and which are important only for mitochondria. The genes which are coding by the mitochondrial DNA will not have any kind of role at the outside of mitochondria. All these things will be for the benefit of mitochondria only. So in this particular slide, I'm going to discuss about the differences between the nuclear as well as mitochondrial DNA, right? So you can see that this nuclear DNA, obviously it can be found in a specialized structure that we call nucleus. And in mitochondrial DNA, that can be present in the matrix of mitochondria. And if you see the nuclear DNA, 2 sets of 23 chromosomes that can be present. But here each mitochondria may have several copies of this single mitochondrial DNA molecule. And if you see the origin of the nuclear DNA, that can be from both the side, maternal as well as paternal side. And this mitochondrial DNA origin is only from the maternal side, right? No paternal side. That anyway, I'm going to discuss in a subsequent slides. And this nuclear DNA can discriminate between individuals of the same maternal lineage, but the mitochondrial DNA, it cannot be possible. And nuclear DNA is double helix bounded by nuclear envelope, but mitochondrial DNA, which is circular, free of nuclear envelope. There is no kind of envelope that can be present in mitochondrial DNA. And the DNA packed into chromatin in the nuclear DNA, but there is no chromatins, there is no packing of histones that can be a feature of this mitochondrial DNA, right? So students, we should always remember about these basic differences between the nuclear DNA and mitochondrial DNA. This will help us to be remember the better in the characteristic of nuclear DNA. And coming to the DNA replication. So DNA replication, anyway, here I'm not going to discuss about the mechanism, how it is to be done. But one important thing we should understand here, the DNA replication is always, it can be start in the specialized area that we call D loop, right? Even the previous slide, which I've highlighted the D loop is the area where exactly the DNA replication of mitochondria, which will start, right? So this part we generally call them as an Rittal model of mitochondrial DNA replication, and this can be especially originated in the special kind of region that we call OR. This is origin regions. So origin regions are the one which can be important for the initiation of the DNA replication. So once it is where that particular region, there is an unwinding of this mitochondrial DNA will take place, and one strand will act as a template to which the new mitochondrial DNA can be synthesized. So finally, you can see finally it can be released like this, right? These are the different kinds of the regions which will be important for the synthesis of this the lagging and leading strand of this mitochondrial DNA. Clear? And coming to the one more aspect, that is how this mitochondria will be only maternal origin. Why not in the paternal origin? So this is very important. We should understand, because the mitochondria, this is this is a mitochondria here. I have clearly shown. This is an egg cell, this is a sperm cell, and this is fertilized egg, right? So in a mitochondria, these are these structures, we call it as mitochondrial structures. So egg cell, there are many mitochondria that can be present. And if you see the sperm cell, this part we call nucleus, and this part, the green color part, this part is the only area where mitochondria can be present, right? In a sperm cell, only the out of the nucleus, only the mitochondria are present, not within the nucleus. Then when the fertilization is happening, only this part, the nucleus part, will enter into the mitochondria, and the rest of the part, this part will be shedded off, right? So that's whatever the mitochondria that is coming into the maternal in the fertilized part, that is always to be on maternal, not the paternal, because here the paternal mitochondria will not enter into the egg cell. So definitely whatever the mitochondria that can present in the egg cell, that is to be from the mother origin. That we should understand. So in a simple manner, you can see here, I've given a very simplified example. So this is egg cell, this is nuclear DNA, these are mitochondria of the egg cell, this is sperm cell, this is mitochondria. Exactly, when fertilization happens, only this part, this particular nuclear DNA part will enter here, and you can see finally the fertilized part. This is to be the nucleus, which will be from the both mean, that is from the egg as well as the sperm. Both egg and sperm will contribute to the nuclear DNA, but only egg will contribute to only the mitochondria. That is because only the cytoplasm which will coming to the zygote, which is only from the mother cell. So that is nothing but the mitochondria will be coming from only the mother cell. So these are the two terms which we will regularly use with respect to the mitochondrial DNA, and that we will understand here. One is homoplasmy, and second one is heteroplasmy. So here, homo, the name itself indicates where the mitochondrial DNA are identical. So identical mean if you take, there are n number of mitochondria that can be present in a cell. You can see these are the different mitochondria. Each and every mitochondria should have the ideal copies of DNA. So in this particular condition, we call homoplasmy. And the second one is we call heteroplasmy, where there will be certain mutation, we generally don't say which is mutation. There will be different copies of the DNA that can be present in different mitochondria of the same cell. So if this is to be below or up to 30%, there is no disease at all. And if it is more than 70%, that can be associated with a certain type of diseases. So this is important to understand that why is mitochondrial DNA will have a high mutation rate. So when you compare with this nuclear DNA, definitely this mitochondrial DNA will have a high mutation rate that is up to 10 to 17 fold, right? So what are the factors that can contribute this mutation of this mitochondrial DNA in such a faster rate? So there are a few different factors which will contribute the mutation rate, mutation of the mitochondrial DNA, and that can keep up this rate is to be high, right? So one thing is there will be an insufficient DNA repair system that can exist in mitochondria. So here you should understand that there will be a repair system that can exist in mitochondrial matrix, but that system is insufficient, which is not up to the level of the mutation rate. That is the first point. And second thing is lack of DNA proteins such as histones. This is also very important. So if you see when the DNA that can be binding with the histone protein, and there is a this histone protein will cover the DNA, and definitely this will not to be have free access to any other materials, right? Any other enzymes or any other reactive oxygen species, so that the DNA is safe. But here the proteins are not present in a mitochondrial DNA, and this is also be one of the important factor to get a high rate of mutations. And the third one is there will be a spontaneous error arising in DNA during the DNA replication. This is also very important. When the DNA is trying to be replicating in a mitochondria, definitely that can be the spontaneous errors can be arised. And obviously we discussed this error repairing system is not up to the level. And one of the important thing you should also be important that this DNA where exactly it can be important for the making of cellular energy. That cellular energy during this process there is a reactive oxygen species that can be generated. So this reactive oxygen species we generally call it as oxidation process is very high. So this oxidation process which will directly go and attack with the mitochondrial DNA, and which is trying to make a different kind of mutations in the mitochondrial DNA. And these are the different factors which can contribute for the various increasing of mutation rate in a mitochondrial DNA. And also if you study about these mutations, the mutations can be on different terms or different definitions for various types, where especially in a mitochondria, these are the three prominent mutations which can be taking place. One is missense mutations, second one is point mutations, third one is deletions or duplication. So anyway, the missense and this type of mutations, which I'm not going to be explained here. So I'll make a video about the mutations, and there in a clear-cut this terminology, which I will explain with the different examples, right? So here, students, you should remember that in a mitochondrial DNA, there will be three different type of mutations which will be prominent. One is missense, second one is point, and third one is deletions or duplication mutations. Clear? Then, so coming to the last part of this mitochondrial DNA, where exactly the mitochondria which will be associated with the many different kinds of diseases which are very relevant to the DNA, right? So because when we are calling it is relevant to the DNA, these are mitochondrial DNA diseases, right? So a few of them are which are related with the electron transport chain, that we call it here. You can see, yeah, that we can call the cytochrome C oxidase deficiency and mitochondrial complex 3 deficiency. These are related with the oxidation, the electron transport chain, and cyclic vomiting disease and Kernes-Shirey syndrome, and even Leigh syndrome. These are to be important for the mitochondrial DNA disease, and this is one of the important hereditary disease. We call it as Leber hereditary optic neuropathy, right? So this is a Leber hereditary optic neuropathy, which is related with the there is a change in the mother mitochondrial DNA, definitely this can code for the this kind of the disease. So when come to the particular mitochondrial diseases, mitochondrial DNA diseases, there are two important diseases we should understand. One thing is Leigh syndrome, right? This is related with the mitochondria, and second one is to be Leber hereditary optic neuropathy. These are the two important diseases which are associated with this mitochondrial DNA. And friends, this is all about the mitochondrial DNA, where I try to explain about the gene structure and the genes which can code for various kinds of mitochondrial proteins. And very briefly I explained about the mitochondrial replication, and even the transfer, the mode of transfer, that is called the maternal inheritance, is also be explained. And finally I explained about the basic differences which are associated with this nuclear DNA and mitochondrial DNA. So friends, this is all for today's class, and we'll see you in the next video. So take care. Bye bye.